You know what? Take it, dog. Take it. Take it. One of the things I try to communicate to my son is that as a man, you will fall and you will have failures. But if you're going to be any strength for any woman, you must have the character and the courage to embrace the falling and those failures and not blame her for it. See, that's where in text, Jamal, that's where I get mixed up with Adam. You know, I love the creation story, but I don't like how he threw the woman under the bus. I have a problem with it.
Yeah.
See, so when God comes back to challenge him, he says, well, it's the woman you gave me. He never takes responsibility from the fact that I heard the instructions first and I put her in a position where she did not put her strongest foot forward. I weakened her opportunity to just be strong before you. He didn't do that. He blamed it on her.
Lord, you gave me this woman. And this woman you gave me, she ain't
listening.
Hey, she grown.
Yeah. I tried to tell her. But no,
Do you think
yes,
that is how in our community our women have lost respect for us?
absolutely. All right. I say that is one faction where we as men have not been taught to just embrace the failure and be responsible. But also, secondly, I think that we have a false understanding of what it means for a man to be in his rightful place. So we're telling men that men need to get back in their rightful place. All right. So my question is, where is that? Then we tell men that you got to be able to lead your home. Lead them where? Then we tell men, well, you got to be able to cover your wife. With what? So those are ethical questions. So I ask those questions because they're ethical. It's easy to be theological, but now for me to be a husbandman or to be a man of the community, I must now have some ethics. Yes. All right. So now when I go back and I talk about those same questions to cover her, well, a woman needs to be covered in 3 areas. Number 1, she needs to be covered psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually.
Yes, sir.
If you cannot cover her psychologically, meaning that giving her the space to expand and journey in conversation, then you're not showing that you have the aptitude to cover her. What I mean is that women have a way of thinking sometimes that will be outside of the context, that they'll go to reading information and things that is not even applicable to where you are. But if you're intimidated by what she's searching out, then you're demonstrating that you don't have the capacity to cover. Woo! And so what will happen is she will end up in a place where she finds the conversation boring.
Yeah.
And she'll need other people to talk to because you lack the capacity to just engage in the conversation.
Yeah.
Now, what happens in some relationships is that could be a make or break or a deal breaker for the relationship. Because if she is growing intellectually, she has to have engagement and conversation.
Yeah.
So I was a poor communicator. I thought that I was good at communicating. Not until I came to the reality that I didn't have enough vocabulary.
Okay.
I could not say what I meant and meant what I said. And the biggest part of communication is not talking, it's listening. And so my issue was in comprehension. See, I could sit and talk, but when you say something, my ability to interpret what you're saying was weakened because I had internal fractions on inside my core.
Good God, man.
Right? So the second thing is now you got to cover her emotionally. Covering her emotionally, you cannot contrast or compare her to other women that you experienced or that are standing in your life because that's going to castrate her. And what happens with men is that once we feel intimidated, it is more common for us to now contrast her with other women that we appear to be strong that we can recognize. But when we castrate her, then we now impair the trust that we have with her.
Yep.
Because all she wants is a moment to be trusted. And that trust comes through vulnerability.
Yeah.
So that emotional space, she needs that. Now, the third place is covering her spiritually. Covering her spiritually does not mean she needs to be your pastor.
Yeah.
Covering her spiritually means that you must give her the grace or the room to now evolve into who God is calling her to be.
So you don't have to be on some preachy type stuff to cover her spiritually.
No.
Because some people I ain't gonna say that.
Well, let me say it like this, because I have it actually in a book, Jamal.
Okay.
Let me say it like this, that we have emasculated the term man of God.
Talk.
And so we have called Christian men, charismatic Christian men, that you need to be a man of God. Well, I like to refute that theory and say you need to be a God's man. Meaning that you could be in any industry practicing in any career field, but God is the center of your core. Being a man of God now labels and says that it's through suggestion that you must now be a clergyman. Covering your wife spiritually don't mean that you have to preach a message to her. Let me just ask the question to the audience. Why do I got to be the pastor of my home when we both got a pastor? If I was Presbyterian, they say amen, lights.
Yo.
If we both got a pastor, why I got to be the pastor of the house?
Yeah.
See, what happens because of these fractured relationships in church, what happens is we try to now compare the relationship of the home with what the relationship with God is like. Let me tell you something. If you're jealous of how your husband or wife love God, you got a personal problem.
Yeah.
And it suggests that you have an insecurity there, that God should never divide the home. See, in my young years, I didn't know how to process that, because what I thought was God really was church.
Yeah, because like some men abandon their families in Jesus' name out here on the road.
On the road.
And that's church, not God.
Yes, not God. All right. So the way it looks, and using that analogy, on the road, if I love her, then yes, I'm on the road working, but I should never work, whether I'm on the road or even if I'm in a local vicinity, depending on what career I'm in. I should never work to where it brings stress and strain on her belief in me being faithful.
Facts on facts on facts.
That because once you get with that person and live with them, you can feel them.
Yes, Lord.
You can feel them. You can feel them. You know that one text message come through. All it says is, "Hey, babe." That's it. Hey, babe. When you look at it, you know that's a different tone right there. I better not call right now. Hey, dog. Then that same "hey, babe," you also know. Hey, dog. I'll be right back. I need to. I'll be right back. I need to go make a call. Now, people that got fractured relationships, they say, "Oh, you shouldn't do all that." No, dog, you got to jack that relationship. I'm trying to protect mine. Yes. Let me go out here and make this phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because security says, I want to make sure you're okay.
Yes, sir.
We need to learn how to become first responders rather than letting everybody else respond first when tragedy happens in our relationship. Yeah.
We need to learn how to become first responders.
First responders, man.
In your experience with people, why aren't we normally first responders?
Because of three kinds of people.
Let's go.
All right. Number one, you have people that are jealous of what you have that they never experienced.
Okay.
So those people that are jealous will spend time having subliminal sabotage.
That's an amazing term.
that have subliminal sabotage on your relationship. All right. And so they'll suggest things that will weaken your relationship, but give them access to who you are. All right.
It'll weaken your relationship, but give them access to who you are.
Yeah. So let me give you an example, right? So let's say you have a fracture in your relationship and you're broken.
Yeah.
Have you ever just considered how accessible the people around you now become?
Yeah, they ready.
Hey, you need to call, man. Hey, man, you call me anytime. But when I'm positive, when I'm going after my game, now you're not accessible.
Oh, that's big.
But when I'm challenged or my relationship is challenged, you can come pick me up, take me out to dinner, even slide me some money if I need it. Tell me, I just want to make sure you all right. All right, so you got the people that are jealous. Then you have the people that live falsely, meaning the people that lie to themselves or lie to America or lie to the world. See, what we have in this social media age is people that post picture perfect pictures, but not picture perfect relationships. And so it looked like it's all gravy, but it ain't gravy.
Yeah.
It's really apple juice. And so what happens is we start taking coaching from broken people that are broken themselves. And we say, well, you should do this or you should do that. And so what happens then is that when people have been broken sometimes, Jamal, they'll try to use your brokenness as a platform to test their theory of hope on you and your relationship. So they're not doing great themselves. So then they want to now impose upon what they think is great for you. All right. Then you got the third kind of people. So we got the jealous people. Then we got the people that's lying. All right. All right. Now the third kind of people are these kind of people that were high school sweethearts, but never adult lovers. Now, this is no indictment against high school sweethearts. Watch this now, because there are many people around the world that have found the love of their life in high school. But if you've never had a broken heart, then you might be lacking the data to help me recover when my heart has been broken. And sometimes these become the people that's doing the most talking. Yeah. They're doing the most talking.
So, what do you need? What does a person need in their life, whether it is experience or exposure? What do they need to become a credible talker?
Number one, you need some experience.
Yes, sir.
All right. What happens is that people will study information, but information without experience don't make you an expert.
Yeah.
Right. And so people try to say that they're experts, but experts are able to handle critical situations because of their experience.
Yeah, they tried and true.
They tried, brother, tried. Yeah. Tried. Right. And so you need some experience. The other thing that you need is to be broadened, is that you can't live your life in a vacuum, that you must be broadened, whether you've gone to school or you had some broad experiences, that you must be able to see life from more than one perspective.
Yes, sir.
The third thing that you need to be a credible voice is the endorsement by other credible voices.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so who around you says that you're good at what you do? Yeah. See, those are things that you will need in a basic form, just to become creditable. And just because you've been something a long time doesn't mean that you're good at it. So, can we just be a little radical for a moment?
Let's go.
All right, radical. Okay. So I often watch people talk about how long they've been preaching.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, been preaching for these many years, and I was out of my credibility, so that anyone don't send you any bad emails. All right, so out of my credibility, I was teaching some pastors in a conference, and we was talking about tenure, and you've been preaching for this long, and you're having preaching anniversaries. I said, well, what would be more creditable rather than you tell me how long you've been preaching, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years? Tell me how many of those years you was a bad preacher.
What up, y'all? I'm Rajay, and I'm interrupting the pod to present an opportunity for y'all to support the brand and the fam. So do this for me. Head over to rajayxshaw.com, click the merchandise tab, and grab a hoodie, t-shirt, or hat. And remember this thing: no matter what people say or think, live your life. Now back to the episode.
You've been pastoring for 50 years. Great. How many of those 50 years were you just a terrible pastor? See, the reason, Jamal, I don't talk about my preaching anniversary is because now when I look at my years of development, I can tell you the amount of years where I was using the text out of context, where I was eisegeting the text, that I was given a message that wasn't true to the context of the passage, but it was true to the context of the crowd. I can tell you about those years where I failed as a pastor because I didn't know how to manage people. Had nothing to do with Bible study, but it had everything to do. I didn't have no people management skills.
And I think, so let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay.
Because whether you're a pastor or whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, whether you're a music producer or whatever, the skill to do the thing, to your point,
yes,
I don't think people realize that that's not enough to actually build something significant. Yeah. So what happens is people get frustrated because, the pastor, for instance.
Yes.
I had a bunch of bad years of preaching.
Yes.
Now I'm good at preaching, but I can't get nobody to stay with me.
Yes. Very, very
so
good. So
that must mean that the good preaching, developing your skill as a preacher is only one part of having a successful church.
Absolutely.
Or anything. Like just because I become a better keyboard player doesn't mean I'm a good MD.
Absolutely.
Because I have to manage a band.
Gotta manage
and band. It's bigger than making sure they know their part. If you're really down for it.
That's right. That's right. All right. And so let's talk about church, business, and community.
Yes,
as
sir.
It relates to managing. Because I can speak to some voicing of that, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'll let you choose. Which one you want me to talk about first?
It don't even matter. You go.
All right. All right. Let's talk about church. All right. Since we're already right here. All right. So to have a successful church, first we need to change the measure of success. All right. We need to change what does that look like. Really, in a basic term, to measure success should be how people apply what is being taught to their personal lives. And we should measure the success of the church based on personal development rather than people population.
Yes, sir.
Number two, that in order to have a successful church, that a pastor today is not like a pastor of the 60s, of the 70s, of the 80s. Okay? Now, the difference is that today you need to know how to manage people. But the problem is that we have pastors that are good at preaching, but they are poor managers. And so when you look at the management of the system, they don't know how to manage the system. So as a default, you and God got it. Well, me and God, we need a little bit more than me and God got it. Okay. We need a little bit more than that. Okay, we need to have some conversation. We need to figure out some things, X, Y, and Z. All right, also to have a successful ministry and managing the ministry, then we must also keep the main thing the main thing. The problem that I have seen post-COVID is that now there are many ministries that they are more focused on making sure that we hit budget, when the main thing is that our business is people. That if we don't know how to manage people and serve people, then the budget just makes us a business. Well, then if we're just a business, if that's what we're going to be as a church, if we're only going to be a business, then our products and services need to be A class. Period.
Facts.
If that's
So you want to treat, you're treating it like a business with terrible products and services. So if you were going to be a business,
yeah. Okay, all right. Let me say it like so. So I do marketing, right? So
Yeah.
so let me say it like this. All right, you got a Neiman Marcus marketing plan, but you got Dollar Tree services.
Facts.
Talking about God getting ready to take us to the next level, and you ain't even changed the merchandising yet.
So what is the flip side where we don't focus on budget? What's the flip side of
All
that?
right. The flip side is that if we build people, budget will come.
Yes, because they're going to value
'Cause they're gonna
being
value-
poured into.
Absolutely. They're going to value being poured into. Now, what the reason that this is a challenge is because people don't have time to pour. All right? So what is typical is that we put people in a position where you must catch the drip and don't know how to sit for the pour. And then they'll talk about we're pouring, but people can't pour. You can't pour out of what has not been deposited. You got to give me more than Jesus wept. And matter of fact, if we're going to talk about Jesus wept, let's have a pouring session. Jesus wept. That is the shortest Bible verse in the Bible. But why did Jesus weep? Let me tell you. We talk about Jesus wept and that he cried over Lazarus. Well, no, that cannot be contextually true, Jamal, because in the beginning of the text, Jesus says that this sickness is not unto death, that the sickness is so that my Father in heaven can be glorified. Well, then why would he get over to the tomb and then cry about what he already decreed? Oh, okay. All right. Now, so let me put it. All right. You with me. So now let me put it in context. So Jesus wept. Why did he cry? Because the people that he's now with are the same people that now no longer believe in him. So he's crying at the reality that you sent a telegram to me telling me to come because I could stop the death. But now that I'm here with you, you no longer believe that I got power because you do not know that I'm the resurrection. And so I'm weeping because you don't even know who's amongst you. So let me give you this for a preaching context. Be mindful of people that you're hanging out with that don't know who the real you. Yes. That's how. So pouring. See, I don't need a marketing strategy. I need volume.
Yes,
That helps
Lord.
me get over my fears, my own weaknesses. I need a pouring that challenges the way that I think, that challenges these silent questions in my head. I need a pouring that if I ask a question, you won't feel unraveled, unnerved. You know, like I'm challenging you. No, I was reading the other day and I just wanted to ask a creditable source that I believed in that could steer me back into the realm of faith if I escaped outside of those borders, that we can just have an intelligent conversation.
Yes, sir.
But what happens is that people are intimidated by questions. They're challenged by them. And so how do we get to a place to where we're building the church? We got to get to a place where we're building people. And also now we need to have proper placement with competent people rather than having improper placement with incompetent people.
Facts. Just like, for example, y'all don't stone me. For example, having somebody on a praise team that can't sing so you can have a praise team.
Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen.
Having somebody over the finances because they are willing, but not because they got an accounting degree.
Let the church say amen.
You know they can't. 2 + 2 = 5 to them. Why they running the finance? Just because I want people to feel like they're involved. No, sir.
Okay. Well,
Let's go to business next.
Well, Jamal, I'm gonna go to business, and I'm after these messages.
Facts.
I'm gonna say this right here, because when we get to the modern age, I find a huge discrepancy in today's church, and this is for no condemnation, right? But the truth that I found is that people have become more accountable to having YouTube, Instagram, Facebook lives, being on time. Let me back up, because I want nobody to miss it.
Yeah.
We're on time for the live production, but never on time for God. That if we're trying to develop people, if we never have a live, then let's just be on time for God.
Yeah, man.
Right? Let's just be on time for God to show people their stewardship in the presence of God.
And the lives and the internet is supposed to be an extension of, it's like people being able to see
in. So as a professional, and this is going to be my segue to business, as a professional, when I'm actually consulting with churches, and the first thing they talk to me about is their live production and stuff, I don't get into the sound quality and all that stuff, because I call other people to do that. But what I'm interested in, how much money do you make from this? Has it increased the budget? Do you get any offerings? Is it $2, $100, $10,000? What is it? Or are you only using it as a medium for visibility? Now, if you're only using it as a medium for visibility, then now I need to give you some Christian insight.
Okay.
That Christian insight is that if all we're using it for is visibility, then maybe the attack on the church is because you had no consciousness about the spiritual warfare in other nations that you have now made your ministry available to.
Interesting.
And so when we talk about spiritual warfare and spiritual engagement, see, demonic territories, all they need is insight, the ability to see. And so if you're talking about sicknesses in the church, there's an exodus in the church, different challenges internally in the church, could it be, since it's not bringing in any revenue, it's not bringing in any increased attendance, could it be that you just use these cameras to give insight to demonic principalities to now attack you intentionally? And here's what's the detriment. They can see you, but you can't even see them.
Facts. So how do you get to the place where in 2023 you have healthy use of the internet in church and the social media platforms?
All right. There are 4 things. One is everything don't need to be televised. That in order to have continuity within the community, we need to have some services that are untelevised. It's in person only. Why? So to give people the privacy and the safety and the security to actually have a moment where they can go through a healing or a deliverance or just a personal encounter with God that's private, sacred, and intimate. Then there are times where if we're going to run a full production, then we need to either bring some trainers in to tell us how to run the full production so that we can, not just split our cameras, but also know how to do a proper exit of the show.
Yeah.
While the service is still going on.
Yeah.
Then there's some that don't need to go live. They just need to pre-record and go back and edit. Pre-record
That's
everything.
wisdom.
And then just go back and edit. If you haven't, so the professional side of this conversation is, if you have an audience, fans don't leave. See, this is how you know the difference between people that have fans versus people that have crowds. See, once you have a real fan, fans don't leave. A fan will stand in a rain for 4 hours and wait.
Yeah.
Talking about, and see, crowds say, "Oh, the show ain't started. The show ain't started." A fan don't care. A fan will start a sideshow on the sidewalk, waiting for the show. Not going nowhere because they're a fan. But what I'm saying is that when you start talking about ministry don't have a lot of fans. They have crowds. Yeah. And so if you start taking away the accessibility, then you don't find that there are real fans, people that believe in the work of the ministry. Yes. So we have to give out a lot of let me use a theological word here. We have to produce all of these accoutrements of the church.
Yes, I heard that word before. Yeah. Facts. Yeah, that's real.
Because people are cantankerous. And what happens is we get in a place where we're trying to get numbers, where if we just start believing in people, then we'll do better. So I made a post last week, and it brought some
Backlash.
Yeah, just a little. All right, because my post was musicians need pastors. All right, and so I got a lot of musicians that was able to feel some of the things that I posted because I got 40 years of experience, and I was speaking from experience, not hope of having a musician. Right? But then there also were pastors that did not comment, but also some that commented, but they don't understand how to pastor a musician.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
Or a singer.
Yeah.
Okay? And so one of the I'm saying this to say this because one of the things I suggested is that once you start pastoring musicians or singers, that they're going to come a day where they need a day off to just sit and digest that word themselves. They don't need to serve. And you got to be able to discern that, because if you're pastoring the musician, you got to know what they need as you know what the congregation needs. Yes, and what happens is that when you start managing people, the lack of managing people, we'll focus on the one thing, which is what we want the outside to come. Think about how many services we all around the world have been in, and somebody's prophesied that the church need to get ready because the nation's getting ready to come in. But internally, we don't even serve the nations that's in our house right now.
Yeah.
So we start preparing for a future and not even dealing with the reality of what's existing. Yeah. Let me go over here to business. So business. All right, let me shift over here to business. I could stay here in the church. So the business part, right? Now, when we're serving business, number one is that we got to have some experience. Okay? We got to have experience. One of the things that's killing businesses is that they're overpricing for novice experience. They have good service, but they are novice themselves. So they want industry standard rates with a beginner experience. Unreasonable. Number two, we have too much false advertisement. There are many amazing designers, Jamal. Many of them amazing. You know, I do all these things for people. But if you're false advertising, then you're lying. Mm-hmm. So I give this analogy in churches. All right. If we make a flyer and say, this is Jump and Run Baptist Apostolic Pentecostal Church of America, Incorporated.
I got to put that INC on there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I see the flyer and I come to your church. When I walk in, I expect to see somebody jump and run.
Facts.
If there ain't nobody jumping and running, your flyer lies.
Whoa. Yeah.
That's false advertisement. So now to grow the business, the problem that many people have is that they don't know their audience. They want everybody audience. See, I immediately shut down when a person tell me, when I say who you want to reach, everybody. There ain't no need for you and I to talk. Conversation over. Yeah. Because it's clear that you don't know the need of what your service, neither are you conscious about the audience that needs your service.
Facts.
So you're still in the beginning stage, in my mind, with where you are in your business. Mm-hmm. Okay. But you can do anything that you want to do. And so the next conversation is, how do we grow that business after knowing the audience? Now you got to know the industry and not just the service or the product or service that you are providing.
That's so good.
So when I'm dealing with artists or dealing with community or dealing with business leaders, I don't care who's at the top, because that ain't got nothing to do with you making money. That ain't got nothing to do with me. You didn't come to me to go to the top. You came to me because you want to make some money. Yes. Well, then my job is to now help you study your industry to figure out how then do you maximize your gift to make money from what you're good at doing.
And you have to know the industry.
You got to know the
Because if you just know, if I'm not studying the music industry,
Mhm.
even though I'm a good producer, I won't know what the market value is.
Yeah.
I won't know who my potential client is. I'll just know I'm good at producing. And I can't make no money just being good at producing, clearly.
No.
Clearly.
That's not gonna work. But some of the other, excuse me, you all. I'm gonna talk to Jamal. Y'all can't call him Jamal. I can call him Jamal. Okay. So you're out of context if you call him that. I can do that. Okay. Because I got some history over here, right? But I'm gonna give you some game.
Yes,
right?
sir.
All right. So here's some game. All right, music producer. All right, well, number one is that, all right, if he or she is just trying to make some money and make a name, well, first of all, when we deal with movies, all right,
Yes, sir.
let's deal with movies. So I deal with movies. Well, movies, you ain't got to have no label or nothing. All they need is tracks that fit the scene that they're doing.
Yep.
So what am I gonna do? Well, I ain't gonna take you to no music party. I'm gonna take you where the producers are that's producing the movies and say, hey, here's a guy that makes tracks. that makes soundtracks for your movie.
Yeah.
Why? Because then that becomes the plug.
Yeah, boy.
All right, that becomes the plug. All right, or another example. All right. Maybe you do music and you do tracks. Well, bright idea. Well, we got. I'm just giving you this right here, but we go around to the major car dealerships. We take one track and now we want to customize a track for that major dealership.
Yeah.
All right, we customize the track for that major dealership with the intent not being at the dealership, but getting to the manufacturer.
Yes, sir. That's strategy like a mug.
Yeah.
That's strategy, because you might end up on a commercial on the highest level.
Right. So I use the dealership as bait.
Yes, Lord.
But I'm only using the dealership as bait because I'm really trying to get to the manufacturer.
That's genius, actually.
Right? I told him just to give him a little game. All right,
but we be going after the people who buying the car.
Yeah, we going after the people who buy the car.
Or the person that's selling the car. Both wrong.
Both wrong.
Yeah, and we do that because it's easier. It's easier. Like,
yeah,
you just a homie that bought the car, but it's like, it's not the line. How can I explain it? It ain't gonna get you there. I just say it like that. It's easier, but it's a waste of time because it ain't gonna get you there.
Yeah. All right. So my last game, because next one I'm gonna have to charge you $19.95. Okay. All right. So check this out. Right. Let's say United Way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I'm talking about any organization. All right. What you want to do is read their mission statement. And this is free game. I don't know.
I can tell you finna. Okay. Yeah, I can tell you finna drop a gem.
All right. So you want to read their mission statement. Once you read their mission statement, and then go through their website, embody what the message is that they want, that they're trying to communicate. From that, you create a jingle.
Yeah, that's game.
You understand? You create a jingle. Once you create the jingle, then you go back to the same website, and now you need to find the either the marketing person or someone. Okay, but now copyright before you do all this. Now copyright
you get
first. Yeah, before because they're gonna get you. All right. Now when you get to that person, say that I've been studying your brand.
Yes, Lord.
I hear your message, and I see what you're trying to do, and I have something that I believe communicates with your overall message. Just have the contract ready. Why? Because they already have a Rolodex of people that they are commonly used. But once you think outside the box, now you got to show them the potential of what they've never done.
Yeah, man.
And so you just take it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now the goal of business is not to get the pay rate of everybody else. It's to set my own pay rate.
Yeah, man.
And when you set your own pay rate, you can only do that when you're in demand.
Yes. And you create, from what I'm hearing you say, the way to create like true demand is to go left when everybody else going right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to go left. But now here it is. If you're going to go left, you can't let social media prompt you to share prematurely.
That's a whole nother thing. That's
You got to move in silence. And then when you use social media, then it's already done.
by the time you use social media, it's already done.
Yeah, it's
Boy,
over.
you giving game.
Yeah, it's over. It's over. Because once you do that, then you're about business.
Yes,
if
sir.
you do it prematurely, you're about likes.
Yeah.
But if you do it afterwards, I'm about business.
Yes.
Because
you want to talk about the placement on the movie you got the day the movie drop.
right. Right.
Not the day you start the track.
Not the day you start. No. Not the day you start the track. No. Because that's gonna be about likes. So like if I'm dealing with a producer, see for me, because my son, I can say this, my son thinks he want to produce and stuff, and if he ever see this, he know I go back and forth with him.
Yeah.
All right, because we talk about streams and things, and so for me, I'm a preacher, but if you're talking about you want to make some money, then I want to have real conversation. I said, like, son, why you want to stream? He like, Dad, you know they making. I said, son, you know how much money they make off of stream? You know they robbing artists. I said, I know the thing said he got 750,000 streams. I said, son, you know how much money he really actually made? I said, son, there's so many other ways that you can go about doing what it is that you're saying you want to do if you're willing to be unconventional.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So here's my last game with music and business. So listen, have anybody ever told you that that Amazon Live is free? But if you start placing your music on Amazon Live, right, then you actually can get kickback from you placing your own stuff on Amazon Live, and it's free to do it.
No, I didn't know that. See, God, you giving jewels. That's game.
Saying.
Producers, that's game.
You just go there and
That's game.
and put your stuff there, and it just gives you another vehicle.
Yes.
That's the thing. It gives you another vehicle.
Yes.
And so the Lord gave me this about multiple streams of income, and what happens with people when you talk about multiple streams of income, they stretch themselves thin, and what they typically do is they want to be doing several different things, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What the Lord told me, He said, son, no. To build multiple streams of income, He said, you need 5 different things. And He said, number 1, He says, you need long-term return. All right? Long-term return. So you need to have some insurance or annuities or something that has a slow return that's long-term. So that's going to build your foundation. He said, then number 2, you need to have cash sales. Cash sales meaning direct sales, meaning that you give a product and immediately you get return from that.
Yes.
All right? Then the third thing you need to have. Now, we're on 2 streams already.
Yeah.
And I'm doing only one thing.
Yeah.
Okay, now watch this. The third thing you need is something that produces royalties. So what happens is that there are many people that have great things, but they don't get no kickback because they have not created deals or contracts that produces royalties that come back to their life. That can be also a part of that long term. All right. The fourth thing that you need partnership deals where you're not just the front man, but now you need to partner in with your service with another company to now you're getting a kickback from those things that you have now partnered in.
Yeah, man.
We're already at 4 streams of income right
Off
there.
one, yes.
Off just one thing.
So you don't have to. Yes, I can do those 4 things and the 5th thing you're about to say just as a producer.
Just as a
I don't
producer.
have to be a producer and a videographer because that's what we normally think.
That's what we normally think. I got to do this. But what happens is you're going to diversify yourself, and when you diversify yourself, you're going to thin out what you're good at, and what you're good at, people are not going to be able to see that because you're going to look like a jack of all trades, but a master of none.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the 5th thing is that now you need to be able to have contracts. These are like one-time payouts.
Yeah.
All right. one-time payouts. So there's, let's say you do a deal, there ain't no royalties connected to it. This is not a residual cash, direct sales cash, but it's a contract that, all right, I do this, you pay me for that.
And that's normally like in those situations, that's normally like a high payout.
A high payout, exactly. The direct sales are the low payout.
Yeah,
like the contract is the high payout. But here is the goal. If you're gonna have multiple streams of income, learn how not to overpromise
and underdeliver.
Because when you start talking about Afrocentric businesses, what becomes our decline is that we overpromise. And then we underdeliver.
Because we are stretched thin.
Because we're stretched thin. We haven't learned how to diversify these multiple streams of income because we try to, I become the videographer. Why? Just go hire a videographer and say, listen, I want to create a contract with you. This how I'm gonna go get this deal. This is how much money you're gonna make out the deal. Or does that work for you? And can we talk about terms? How long do you want to do this for? 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years? Figure out what works for us, and then we'll come back and renegotiate the contract. So that means when I have videography work, I ain't doing it. I'm calling you. Yeah. See, if we get to the concept where it's okay if you eat and I eat too, then we all are okay.
Yes.
But what happens is that whether it's faith-based, business, or community, the man or woman at the top are only concerned about what they get.
Mm-hmm.
And so it becomes very muddy. So let me go back to my pastor example with musicians. Musicians need pastors. I said in my post, how many people, they're your musician or singer and they have EPs or albums, and the pastor don't even own one. But they're with you every week. Yeah. But you don't have the person you keep telling the person you love them, but you ain't even bought the album. Even if you don't listen to it. But see, if they understood industry, buying the album helps my visibility.
Yes.
But these become the challenges and dynamics. So having multiple streams of income, just become good at what you're at. But now figure out, how do I diversify the gift? Diversify that gift in this industry.
That's good. That's good, man.
All right, so here's a freebie. Since you produce music, I preach, I pray, and that's what stuff I do. Okay, all right, that's what I do. He do the other thing. Now I'm working on a prayer CD at some point in my life, but I pray, and I ain't gonna give you that because you're gonna steal my bag from me. But just know I'm working on it. I got the vision and the concept and everything in my head. But check this out, Jamal. There are many young children that are battling with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
They're in hospital and their families are battling with cancer. Okay. I'm going to ask you just musically. This is not for you. It's a rhetorical question, so you don't have to have an answer.
Okay.
But here's the question. How cool would it be, now that you're a father, to even use your children, create a song for children that don't have hope? The audience is children with cancer in mind. This ain't even for everybody else get the benefit. That's a little Michael Jackson game. We are the people. We are the world. All, yeah.
Wow. But that's that unconventional thinking you're talking about.
Yeah. But they need hope. But how cool would it be
that would be so dope.
And so your trigger would be this. All right, so the song would be debate, but the trigger is because now I really have a song for the parents, for the adults, for the nurses, for the doctors that they were so the song for the children's for free. This is my freebie. That's my bait. Yeah. But they do need hope. So I'm going to use the gift and the skill to give them what they can't get to because people are not communicating to them.
Gosh.
But now, behind that, I got a message.
And that's how you can give your gift purpose. That's how you can go beyond just being good at something.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of being good at it.
Mm.
Bro,
listen. And then let me go on and tell you this. So then what you're gonna do? You're gonna pick a hospital, pick a notable hospital, a notable hospital. Choose Christmas. That's a good time. They're very hopeless around that time or something.
Yeah.
Choose Christmas or choose any day. Choose any day. So I'm gonna say any day. What you want to do is choose a notable hospital or go to Ronald McDonald House or anywhere and say, listen, I'm a music producer. I got some music of hope for your children that are challenged. And I want to come do a free concert for them. I just got a few singers. I got a music. It ain't gonna cost y'all anything. But on the back end, you already got the. So how you gonna win? When you go do the show, all right, it's free for them to experience it, but now you got merch on the table.
Yeah.
You understand? Now you got another concert or you got music getting ready to drop.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So what I'm saying is if you can get to where you can produce for the hopeless, you'll always have a revenue that's coming.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean so the reason I use the cancer the children with cancer because that's an audience untapped. So you won't have to compete with the R&B. You won't have to compete with the neo soul. You won't have to compete with the quartet, the choir, CCM. You won't have to compete with them. You know what? I'm gonna go to those that don't have help. And I got something to say. Why? Because now as a father, you and your wife, father and mother, we got children, and we can only imagine what it looks like and what it feels like to have nobody assist you. So now we got music for you. And then behind the music, in the same vein, now you come out with a children's book, not an adult's book. You come out with a children's book. Put the children's book behind that, put a t-shirt with that, give them a ball cap behind that, and then give them a concert in that and say it's for you.
Yeah, that's a blue. This man, if anybody watching this, he just gave somebody a blueprint. Goodness. Bro, that's a blueprint. All right, now let's go to community.
All right, community. With community, you can never win the community if you don't build a trust with the voices in that community. So what happens in the community is that people, organizations, faith-based communities are going to the community because they're trying to put credibility on their services, but they haven't built any relationships with the people in that community.
So you out here selling is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's really what you're doing. That's really what you're doing. You're selling, but the community want to be saved, and saved not as in Christian salvation. People don't like living in poverty, but they want help that they can trust in. But if you're going to win the community, then you cannot win a community that you're not willing to touch. It's not gonna work. And the way it works on the streets, let me look at this camera. I think our studio manager got this camera right here for me. So let me look at this camera.
Or you can look at this one, either way.
Okay, let me check this one over here. Okay, so the real truth is that when you're trying to win the community, that if you're not willing to get out there and just learn what people are going through and walk with them through their journey, then you won't have the trust of the community. And what happens when you don't have the trust of the community, they'll let you have your church, they'll let you have your program, but they won't now be married to that program or married to that church, married in the purpose of that ministry, married in that program of the organization. And because they will then realize, because in the streets, this is why I need to look at this camera. In the streets, you got 20 seconds before we discern if you're real or if you're not. This ain't 5 minutes. This ain't 3 days. It's 20 seconds. We know. I know it don't look like I'm from the street. Just you need to zoom in. But you got 20 seconds. By your second line, we already know you lying. You don't want nothing.
Yeah.
You don't want nothing. And so with the community is that now we have to be willing to face real issues. And so I was having a conversation today with men, because I am facilitating as administrator a men's movement down in Fayetteville. It is crazy. Anyway, I'll say something else about that. But I was facilitating this conversation, and what I told them was, when you're trying to get to the community, that they can't feel like a number. That they got to know that you're for them. And on top of this, Jamal, the community, they need more than food and clothes. I mean, I thank God for all the services, but they need more than a bag of potatoes and some clothes. Free game for any organization or church that's listening.
Let's go.
How cool would it be for you to go into a community and all you had was brand new socks? That's it. You ain't got nothing else. We just got, for 6 months, our church collected socks and we went into a dilapidated community and we gave out fresh socks for people. Why? Because we believe that people's feet need to be well.
Attaching a purpose or like giving a deeper message behind what you're giving.
Amen.
That's heavy.
Amen.
That's heavy.
Amen. I've shared this game around the world that when we start school in August or September, depending on where they are, that there are so many organizations that give book bags and all these things. I said, listen, why do we have to continue giving book bags and pencils? Why not, if you got a teacher in your church, why not just adopt his or her classroom? They get their class roster before they give it out to the parents. Get with your teacher and say, how many students they give you this year? The teacher is going to say, this is my roster. This is how many girls and boys. Why not then go take your teacher, adopt her classroom and say, we're going to take care of your classroom for the year. So we're going to give your classroom, all your students, we got girl book bags, boy book bags for your whole classroom. They got pencils, paper. The parents ain't got to buy no hand sanitizer or nothing. Gosh. We're going to outfit your entire classroom for the year. So anytime you have a need, you call our church. We got you because you're a member of our church.
These are the kind of things that grow. It's not. Oh,
so Jamal, so how cool would it be when the teacher is at work, right? She's at work or he's at work and they say, who's doing this for you? My church.
Woo! What church you go to?
What church?
Good God, that would do that.
Hey, we just went into church growth right then. Hey, I'm coming to your church. You went to who church? They do what? Yeah, they adopted my classroom for the year. And how cool would it be for that teacher to be able to email all of those student parents and say, you don't have to purchase nothing because it's already been financed.
Yo,
all your student has to do is come to school.
That's more game. That's game. Bro, you giving game. And it is showing me that sometimes our motives can be bad.
Okay. Yeah.
Even if we don't mean for them to. You are revealing to me that if we add depth to what we're doing, and if we attach it to supplying a need, the vanity metrics will be a byproduct.
Absolutely.
The numbers, the subscribers, the tithers, the members,
absolutely,
the customers.
Yeah.
They come after supplying the need.
Yeah. So there's a ministry I started within my ministry called mobile ministry. And so what I do around the world, I collect old cell phones and devices. I clean them up, take the SIM cards out of them. And in all these countries that I service, that I have people that I've vetted, that I've been to over the years, and they search out families and pastors in rural communities, and we connect them to the mobile world.
Godly.
Because they don't have devices and they have no way to connect. So as a way of service, we connect them to the mobile world by providing that device through this mobile ministry.
That's game too. So it's finding a need, whether it is church, whether it is business, whether it is community, to grow your clients, to grow your organization, to grow your church. It's service first. Either way, it's finding the need and providing it genuinely.
Yeah. Yeah.
and being unconventional in the approach of serving.
That's right. That is right.
That's brilliant.
That is
man.
right. And once you start doing that, then you will start placing a demand.
Yes, man. Because I'm going to the church that adopted the classroom. I'm going.
So you got another. So just a pure mathematical projection.
Yeah.
So you got another. So if you adopt your teacher, you're gonna have at least one more teacher from that school that's gonna come. But now let's say they got 25 children. One of those families is coming to your church. Cause you did what? Oh, I'm coming. Yeah, nobody ain't never done that. Yeah, I'm coming. We ain't got to buy nothing. No, you ain't got to buy nothing. Just send the baby to school.
So guess what? In a parent's mind, they're grateful. The money I would have used for these supplies, I now sow into the ministry.
There you go. See, it's about increasing the quality of life for all mankind.
Yeah, man.
Right. But those are some concepts that can be applicable. And so my encouragement to all musicians and singers is that don't bury your gift using the path that everybody's already taken.
Boy, if I ain't learning that.
The reason I say that is because if nobody's ever told you, let me tell you, music is universal.
Yeah.
Jamal, I'm gonna tell you something. This is more free game, and
This is free game today.
And then I'm just gonna be quiet because I think my the producer's telling me it's about over, so I'm just gonna shut up. But I'm gonna tell you this here is that I travel around the world, and I've given the opportunity to several people. Let me put it that way, to make me a song. I said, listen, I got nations that'll listen to the song if you just give it to me. They'll say, yes, Bishop. This is who? Yeah, this is from America. Yeah, this is a good person. They'll download it, listen to it. I said, but what they're not going to do, they're not going to listen to it if you're not endorsing me also because of the respect that I've earned in the nations. And so here comes the minimization, the minimalization is that because commercialism is so big here in America that people only see the platform that's presented to them and they can't see the bridges that's been established for them.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a difference between a platform and a bridge. Platform you step on, bridge you cross over.
You cross over.
All right. And so there are many bridges around the world. How cool would it be for you to have a song, right? And then they're singing it in many different languages.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what
being a bridge.
What blew my mind, I was in Italy preaching in revival, man. I was preaching. I was in an Italian and Spaniard church. They are now partners of mine many years ago.
Yeah.
But what blew my mind, they were singing American worship songs in 3 languages, in the same key, in the same rhythm. It tore my brain up so bad. When we get off this podcast, I'm gonna try to find. I got some recording in my phone, so it tore me up so bad. I said, "Where am I? And what in the world is going on?" That they'll start singing the song. So let's use Hezekiah Walker, Every Praise. All right, they'll start singing the song in the right key.
Yeah.
They'll sing it in their language, in Italian. Then sing it in Spanish.
Yeah.
The same verse. And then come back and sing the same verse in English, in the same rhythm, in the same key. My head was hurting when I left church.
Yeah.
I said, oh my God, isn't this crazy?
Yeah.
Where in the world happened? What is going on?
Yeah.
Well, what is happening is that there's a disconnect between the Church of America and the Church of the world. And so when you go back to church history, that the Church of England used to be the model church. So when you talk about church history, church evolution, that the Church of England is how we model our church. That's why we have big churches, steeples on top and things.
That.
Well, the Church of America has now become the church of influence. And how they're watching us is through YouTube.
Yeah. Facts.
They're studying through YouTube. I've been to several countries, Jamal, and they said, well, Bishop, you need to bring some musicians because the one thing they have not been able to figure out is black church sound.
Yeah.
They see it, but they don't know how to place it. They don't know how to arrange the chords. They don't know how, but they want it.
They want it. Yeah.
They want it.
Yeah.
But what I see from a business perspective is that there's an untapped nations out there that when you're just so concentrated on the platform that you miss all those bridges over there.
Boy!
Because you're looking to step up, not cross over. That's what I'm trying to say.
You looking to step up and not cross over.
And what changed my life is when I stopped stepping up. I started crossing over. I started crossing over. Yeah.
Thank you.
Man, you're welcome, man.
Yo, listen. Y'all, I'm gonna watch this a lot of times. Yo, because this was insane. Like, dang! Y'all, this has been another episode of the RXS podcast with my man Roosevelt Ethridge. We out. Peace.
Holla.